Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is once again the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. This is episode 24 of our Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. I think we've done 24 episodes in, I don't know, maybe roughly 23, 24, 25 days. So pretty pumped about that. I'm hoping to reach that 30 episodes in 30 days threshold, eventually go to 50, maybe even 100, and finish the whole year. So we'll see. But for now, in this episode, we'll talk about what are the most controversial topics right now, not only in basketball, but in Philippine sports, in ASEAN sports especially. We'll talk about the controversial eligibility situation at the 2023 Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. As always, we're also going to spotlight some fan reactions here, and there have been a few interesting reactions. First thing we'll do is we're going to be reading a few articles, a few lines from some articles connected to this pretty interesting controversy happening in Phnom Penh in Cambodia right now. This first one is from the Manila Bulletin, actually, from way back in January 11, 2022. So this was about 4 months ago, give or take a couple of days. So the headline goes, naturalized players could play in the Southeast Asian Games. The Philippine basketball team, of course, the focus is on basketball, could send its biggest arsenal, its naturalized players. Take note, it's plural here, all right? In its bid to regain lost glory in the 2023 Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia this May. Justin Brownlee, whose naturalization process is in the final stages. So Brownlee, at the time of this article's release, wasn't even officially a naturalized player for the Philippines yet. Might suit up for the Philippine team to the 2023 Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia. This after the Philippine Olympic Committee President Bambol Tolentino disclosed that the Cambodia SEAG Organizing Committee only requires a passport for a certain athlete to be eligible to play in the biennial competition. This proved to be good news for the SBP, which could field in the likes. So again, we are not listing one name, we are listing multiple names. Ange Kwame, who's of course not going to play, he's injured. Marcus Douthit, who's not going to play, he's not even in the country anymore. I'm not sure if, we're even going to allow him to play in the PBA in the future. That's another conversation. And Andrea Blatch, same boat as Douthit, were all Philippine passport holders. Okay, so as early as January, at least someone in the country was already probably thinking, okay, only passports are required. Maybe we could leverage this and use multiple or have multiple naturalized players. Even Brownlee, who's in the final process of naturalization, could make to the squad for the May 5 to 7 hostilities. So this is a quote from this article quoting Mr. Tolentino. Pasok na sa SEA Games si Brownlee kasi pinakamabilis na nga yung sa kanya. Sabi ng SBP, baka paggamit na nila sa Brownlee. Sigurado na mga abot siya doon, mapaprocess na kaagad ang passport niya. Alright, now, so as early as 4 months ago, we knew the lay of the land in the SEA Games. And about a few weeks ago, we knew that at least one country was going to use at least one naturalized player. Like us, we were going to use one. Well, if we're counting FIBA rules, we actually have multiple. No? But our naturalized players actually have Filipino heritage or Filipino paperwork at least, right? Um, you look at Indonesia and you have Lester Prosper, you have um, one of their other import or nationalized players. You have Dean Diagne as well. I forget the second one, but they have three. They could have actually had four had Marquis Bolden been healthy. Okay, and we knew that coming in that it was possible for Indonesia, the defending champions, to have not one, not two, but at least three. Okay, and if Bolden were healthy, even four naturalized players in the Southeast Asian Games. We knew that. We knew it was a possibility. Okay, and we knew that Thailand were going to field a full complement, well, almost a full complement of their Thai foreigners, the Morgan brothers, Freddie Goldstein, Tyler Lamb. They were all playing in even their Thai German, whom I talked about in a previous episode, Broinig, is also expected to play in the Southeast Asian Games. So we knew, okay, that under FIBA rules they were considered naturalized. All right, just like Christian Standhardinger, definitely Justin Brownlee, okay, definitely Jeremiah Gray. Although I don't think Gray is going to make the final roster, but we knew, okay, that these players were all going to play. And then now that Cambodia is coming in, circumventing everyone's expectation, because nobody cares about Cambodia's basketball team if we're being completely honest. Okay, but satisfaction is a function of expectations. We didn't expect Cambodia to turn a lot of heads in basketball, but they have. Okay, and that kind of throws all our best laid plans to shambles. We knew what we were getting with Thailand, with Indonesia, with Vietnam, with all these other teams. We maybe kind of assumed that Cambodia would maybe have one, maybe a couple of naturalized players. I don't think we assumed or expected they'd have multiple, like three non-heritage players for their men's team, and like at least three or four for their women's team, in addition to other Cambodian foreigners with legitimate Cambodian heritage. I'm not sure we expected them to have a 6'8", 6'9", if you want to call them an expat, an import, a naturalized player, whatever term you want to call them. All right? And when expectations like that, especially for a team that's not highly ranked like Cambodia, if expectations are circumvented like that, then people just go bat crap crazy, right? We expected Thailand, expected Indonesia. Who the hell expected Cambodia to all of a sudden be a contender? Not only be a contender in their group, but potentially be a contender for a podium finish, and more importantly, be a contender for a gold medal. And they did win a gold medal already in 3x3. They beat Gilas 3x3 in the finals a couple of days ago. So, it's human nature. When our expectations of lowly teams is circumvented, okay? Sometimes that's like a feel-good underdog story. But in this case, it's not like that. Because the impression a lot of people get is that Cambodia gamed the system to their advantage, which I think is absolutely on point. Okay, and we're gonna share this this article from ABS-CBN News. Okay, Cambodia basketball rosters stir debate on citizenship rules. Did they game the system? Absolutely. Does it look like a farce? 100%. Did they violate any rules? No. Did they violate any rules that have been in place for as long as we can remember in the SEA Games? No. Okay? The SEA Games has had a long history of host countries finding ways to leverage their advantage as hosts. Cambodia is doing it now. They're doing it in a very, in Filipino siguro, some might say it's kind of lantaran. Some might even say it's a little garapal. Okay? But is it a violation? No. Okay. And did we know that this was the lay of the land? Yes. All right. People are up in arms. And, we can understand that because, again, expectations have been circumvented. All right. If we knew 2 months ago that Cambodia would have like 4 or 5 imports, expats, naturalized players, whatever you want to call it, then we'd have, okay, sige, let's prepare. Let's prepare for that. But Cambodia, inutakan lahat eh. Cambodia, just, they played the game. Okay? They played the game. Wily as heck. If you want to, I don't know what you want to call it, cunning as heck. Apparently, they may have released a preliminary roster without expats. And then now, it's full of expats. Okay? I'm sorry, but I call that gamesmanship. Okay, I call that gamesmanship. So now, they have these players for both men's and women's teams. Brand Peterson, Darren Ray Dorsey, Saeed Pridgett, Mariah Cooks, Kimberly Hanlon, Megan Simmons, Brittany Binkins, all playing for their 5-on-5 teams, in addition to playing for their 3x3 teams. Some people will say, those don't sound like Cambodian names. Well, guess what? Guess what? We don't base it on names. Because if we did, then we'd have to look in the mirror as well. We base it on paperwork. Our players have clean paperwork based on our laws. Cambodia's players, the impression we have is they also have clean paperwork based on Cambodia's laws. Okay? So, kung papel sa papel ang labanan, pareho legit yan. Nakakainis lang kasi isahan tayo eh. Nautakan tayo eh. Naisahan talaga tayo. Alright? Now, in this report, the report quotes a Cambodian homegrown player named Joshua Bonum. By the way, before I read this, I'd like to just, reference Coach Pat Aquino here, who says those are the rules. We can't do anything about it. Ang sa atin lang, we have to prepare well going to these games now. Knowing Coach Pat, I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated maybe by how this has played out. But I gotta give him props for his graciousness in saying these are the rules. We just have to roll with it and prepare. I think Coach Chot echoed the same sentiments as well. Okay, and ganun talaga sa SEA Games. Diba? You play by the same rules and you live with people leveraging those rules, or you change the rules. Okay? You can gripe as intensely as you want. Okay? Nobody's gonna stop from doing that. But know that unless the rules change, the griping and complaining won't have any tangible effect. All right? Do I hope the rules change? Absolutely. Will they? I don't think so, if I'm being completely frank. Okay? Now here, a Cambodian homegrown player, Joshua Bonum, cried foul on the matter. He had strong comments being quoted here. The fact I'm watching players that have no heritage or pride for my Cambodian people, like many like myself, is disheartening and disappointing. I've been working with players in Cambodia and players here in the States. We have the talent, right? So we have one Cambodian player who's really crying foul over these things. I think that's perfectly understandable. Okay, he probably, I'm not sure if Cambodian players knew for months now that this would happen. It seems like they didn't. It seems like they were, this was a curveball for a lot of Cambodians as well. Okay, we have this reaction as well from one of our own star players, Jack Animam from the women's Gilas team. Obviously, Jack, feels very frustrated by this whole thing as well. She questions, as reported here in Inquirer, Jack Animam questions the surplus of naturalized basketball players in the Southeast Asian Games. All right. If we click on read more here, she told, apparently Jack knows one of the players who's played for Cambodia. She told me she's going to play in Asia, but I wasn't expecting to see her here. I approached her and she told me that she's playing for Cambodia. Again, expectations were supplanted. And by human nature, we react a little bit, we don't like it when our expectations are supplanted like that. All right? Still, we beat Cambodia and holy heck, it felt good beating them. All right? But, you can sense the frustration in Jack's lines here. I think if there's going to be a lot of imports like these, the essence of the SEA Games will be gone. For me, the SEA Games is a venue to show the talents you have in your country. What are the SEA Games for if we're not fielding our homegrown talents? Okay. Now I think there are a lot of things to unpack here. Okay, talents in your country, homegrown. What do these mean? There's so many things that these could mean. Okay, and if you ask people from different countries whose players might have heritage from another country, might be training in another country, are these strictly homegrown, home trained, whatever? It's a whole new conversation. All right. You have some interesting comments as well. This one's the Instagram post from Joshua Bonang. You have interesting comments here. A lot of people agreeing with him, definitely from Cambodia, but one lady here disagreeing with Joshua. I was there in the arena. You should have seen the pride and excitement that the Khmer people had seeing their flag being raised above all other flags for the first time in its history for basketball. Naturalized or not, there was nothing but love and pride being shown to those players. So that's the other side of the story. And speaking of the other side of the story, this is a post on Facebook from whom I think someone from Cambodia. I'm not sure if he's a player, a journalist, but this is from Rangsi Chum. He says, I usually keep my mouth shut and keep it moving on Facebook. I don't care what anyone says, what any haters say. This guy been practicing in his homeland for 10 plus years. He was able to make his mother proud and showed her that he was one of the best locals in the country. Efforts did not go in vain. That's what it's all about. He, along with all of the naturalized players, his words, not mine, that helped get the gold medal for Cambodia, put in their best effort for the future of Cambodian basketball. We, as Cambodian descent players, needed to see what talent level it takes to beat this region in basketball. If you're nowhere near this level, then practice harder or keep it moving. We as a country finally got a W that our people that struggle here every day deserve. I'm not on the roster. I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a water boy. I'm a true supporter of this country and the basketball in this country. If you ain't with us, you against us. Pretty strong words from this guy. And then you have these pictures of one of the Cambodian 3x3 players hugging his mom. And this post got a lot of support as well. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, you have multiple sides to this whole thing. And, some fan reactions are interesting as well. Okay, I mean, if we look at some fan reactions right now. So some fan reactions here on Twitter. Some people saying it's basically the end justifies the means. In some contexts, they do, my friend. Okay, in some contexts, they do. If I'm being completely frank and honest about the world. Okay, Arnold says, iiyakin, iiyak din ang mga yan. Pag iba na ang host, tapos ipagbawal yung mga naturalized. Probably, I mean, Thailand's going to be the next host in 2025. We don't know if they're going to leverage the rules the same way or a different way. We don't know if they're going to introduce other events or sports. We're not sure. Okay? From Arnold again, sabi nga ni Fred Uitengsu, win with integrity. Is that winning with integrity? I'm not sure. Integrity depends on context and culture, I guess, in some contexts. For us in the Philippines, I think it's clear what integrity in basketball means for us. One naturalized player and everyone else with at least Filipino heritage. For us, that should be the name of the game. But if we impose that on other countries who are hosting us for this event, that's a whole new complex thing altogether. We have surefire bets saying Filipinos are really haters, man. Pretty interesting what he says here. All right, maybe Filipinos are haters sometimes. Maybe we're gatekeepers, especially in terms of when we talk about Southeast Asian basketball, because we're supposed to be the kings or the queens, right? But this has put us in a very uncomfortable position. It supplanted our expectations. We didn't see it coming. We knew that naturalized players or imports would be allowed. We knew there would be no cap. Okay? We knew that at least one country, Indonesia, was taking advantage of the fact that there would be no cap. And then Cambodia comes in with a slew of their own imports, naturalized players, expats, whatever you want to call them. And all, we're crying, we're all up in arms all of a sudden. We see reports maybe of them leveraging it in other events as well, not only basketball. Are they violating any rules? Hindi talaga eh. I mean, nakakainis. It's not illegal. Okay? Is it honorable? I don't think so. Nakakadiri. Nakakadiri talaga. But they didn't violate anything. Okay? If we feel very strongly about all these things, and we feel that the spirit of sportsmanship has been slapped in the face because of something like this, then that intensity of resolve has to be reflected in the rules of the SEA Games. If all the countries feel very strongly about it, then they should have protested during the technical committee meeting. Nobody protested. If they feel very strongly about it for the future of the SEA Games, then they should sit down and change the rules. Okay? Then we'll see. If the rules do not reflect the spirit of sportsmanship we're all talking about, then maybe our intense belief or our collective belief in that spirit of sportsmanship does not exist, at least in the context of Southeast Asia. I don't know. It's crazy. We'll see how it pans out. Maybe Cambodia wins the gold. Maybe they don't. Maybe they finish on the podium. Maybe they don't even make it past the group stage. We'll see. All right? In 3x3 women, they didn't even finish on the podium. Okay, in 3x3 men, they won the gold. How will things play out in 5-on-5? It's a whole different ball game. We'll see how things go. All right? Good luck to Gilas Pilipinas for both men and women. I certainly hope you bring back the gold in the men's tournament, and that we defend the gold, bag that three-peat, beat their asses, both in men's and women's as well. Okay, so laban Pilipinas, puso, mabuhay ang Philippine basketball, at mabuhay ang lahat. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA.basketball. Follow me on Twitter at Hoopnut or Instagram at TheHoopnut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball.